And welcome back. Today we are going over a very special version of our podcast. We're going to be talking about some tips and tricks for your magic conventions. I'm Levi.
I'm Jacoby.
And I'm Joe.
And this is the Thought Whistle. Welcome to the show. As I was alluding to, we are going to be talking about some tips and tricks for going to conventions because we are actually going to be at a convention coming up here at the middle of the month here. We'll be at MagicCon Las Vegas. And we are going to be, we're very excited to be able to be everyone in person, all three of us. It should be a really, really good time. Very excited for it. But with these conventions, there are a lot of things that we probably wished we knew when we started going to these conventions that we kind of had to learn the hard way. We're just going to go in and go around the horn and just talk about some things that we kind of wish we knew, some tips and tricks as we're going. In our traditional order, I'll start us off. The first one is do your homework. I understand it can definitely be exciting, and this can also help subside some of that pre-convention jitters or just needing to get there. Look at who's going to be there. Look at what is going to be going on during that time to be able to sure you can make the most of your time. The one thing you don't want to do is go into the convention hall and find out that I wanted to get my Jewel Lotus signed, but the artist is here and they can absolutely do that, but I left it at home because I didn't realize that. Or you're hanging out and the panel that you wanted to go see already happened because it happened on Friday, but you thought it might have been on a Saturday or something like that. So the more research you can do ahead of time and just making sure that you can get to all the things you want to, and then you can even prioritize your time a little bit too.
And that's super important because sometimes you can also just forget what time it is when you're at the event itself. So making sure that you're on top of a specific plan so that you're a little bit more cognizant of that time can help you prevent a lot of that.
And sometimes, you're going to discover things in the midst of what you're doing. Like, oh, I didn't know about this panel. And you can, if you have a schedule already planned out, you can see what can work instead of having a panicking last second and be like, oh, but there's like four other things. It's like, well, yeah, I wanted to do this, but this suddenly interested me a bit more. So slide it into the schedule slot.
And speaking of panels, we are actually hosting a panel ourselves at the MagicCon Las Vegas here. We're going to be doing the Traps in Deck Building panel, which is also going to be featuring Cass, aka Strixhaven Dropout, and Kuro Hitsuki.
Woohoo!
Just great people and people that I know have just been very dedicated to deck building and understands just the pitfalls of them as well.
That'll be very, very exciting. That one's going to be on Saturday. If you check the MagicCon website, you'll be able to see the location and times for that particular event. So hopefully we can see a couple of y'all at that event. Very excited to get a chance to do this again. Last time it was in MagicCon Chicago, not this year, but the year before.
We kind of didn't get it under the wire for that one.
And that's fine.
Look, I forget a lot of things.
Hey, that's okay. Jacoby, what's your first tip?
First tip is take care of yourself. There's going to be plenty of opportunities to do many a thing. And sometimes those things are limited. But just like planning for those things, you should also be self-aware, be like, yeah, I'm going to this drink, and why do I feel lightheaded? And I didn't drink water all day, and I go to sleep on the floor now. Bad idea. Don't do that. Please take care of your body. Take a shower every night because feeling clean coming into the convention, getting hydrated, all of these things will enhance your experience and your interaction with everybody else. Being well rested, it's really important that when you come to stuff like this and you have your fun, that you're not sacrificing your mental health, your well-being, or any of the things you normally try to get done at things like conventions.
As the primary person who's been a part of this crew that has had this issue going into Saturday, I've always forgotten to do that on the Friday, and then Saturday, I'm like, why is everything hurty? Why is my head hurty? Why are my lips so dry?
I think that the main issue with this is when you're at the convention hall, these places are not really designed to have a lot of windows and natural light for the most part. They're mostly just built to maximize the space. Everyone's on their own routine and schedule. I usually recommend just wearing a watch just so you can kind of look down and see what time it is periodically throughout the day. Because no, this isn't like a workspace where everyone kind of conventionally takes lunch at the same time or anything like that. So you can absolutely, if you're like in the middle of just playing a bunch of Commander or something like that, you can go and like look down, oh, it's dinner time. I didn't eat breakfast or lunch. Funny story, we actually were at a SCG Con Atlanta one year, Joe and I, and Joe was playing a lot of CDH. I was helping a person play in a CDH pod, but he didn't have a CDH deck, and it was just an Orcish Bowmasters doing thing. And at one point, I was like, Joe, we need to leave. It's 4 a.m. Like, we've got to go to sleep. Like, and that just happens.
And especially since after that, we then went to midnight Korean barbecue the next night too. And it was just back-to-back nights of going to bed super late.
So,
Or
yeah,
was that just
we didn't
me?
sleep very
I
much
think
at
that
all.
was just
Yeah.
me.
No, I did Korean barbecue with that one. On that
Oh.
one. The one before that, I didn't go.
I struggle to keep hydrated. So this year I planned smart, and I'm just having a large container of water inside my backpack that I can just drink from the entire time.
And at least the MagicCon convention staff has also understood that this has become more and more of a problem. So they're having more and more water fountains and water stations that you can get water within the convention space.
Even something as simple as setting alarms for yourself, like, oh, this is traditionally my lunchtime. Am I hungry? Should I go eat some food? Should I go get a water break? And just kind of keep track of these things for yourself is going to very much make your experience a lot more enjoyable. Joe,
Yep.
what's your first hint? Tip.
Hint? Tip? What?
I don't know.
One of those things. And
What are words?
truthfully, the actual answer is you're going to see people that you probably haven't seen in forever at these conventions because mainly we're primarily been online. So what you need to do is take pictures with your friends. It's one of the basic things that so many people like to forget. And I got this tip from Valerie Fatale. She couldn't attend the last Magic convention, and she implored that people take pictures of their friends because it is so easy to forget that you likely are not going to see these people within weeks, months, sometimes years. And just having physical records that you were there, they were there, and that you were there together is important.
They also can serve as an alibi.
I mean, that went real dark real quick. Goddamn.
That was
Hey, we're going to
was
be in Vegas.
so
You
much
never
more
know.
extra.
I mean,
Yeah, we're gonna be in
yeah.
Vegas. I'm gonna level with you. The alibi is gonna work in reverse. They're gonna be like, "What's your alibi?" I'd be like, "I was at the convention at Vegas. How convenient! It was 30 feet from where you stood."
Oh no!
All
But
right.
yeah, no, honestly, just take pictures with your friends. It's important. One of the more recent things is I'm definitely going to be taking pictures with Jacoby and Levi because I haven't physically seen Levi, even though we live close, and Jacoby has moved to another state.
Yeah, and I'm primed to move again. More on that later.
Jacoby moves a lot.
I do.
Yeah.
My
But
life is wild and reckless abandon.
we're going to make sure that we have pictures together because I don't know the next time that might even happen.
That's a fair point. You never know. I'll jump into my second tip for the convention here. It is okay to take your time. So when you're at these conventions, there's always something going on. You're going to feel obligated to kind of push past yourself, whether it's, I just need to take a second and grab something to eat, or I need to drink some water, or I'm introverted. There's people everywhere. I just need to go somewhere and just kind of chill on my phone for like 5 minutes and just kind of get recharged a little bit. So if you get into that situation, there's so many things going on, you're not going to miss out on just like one little thing, especially if you've done your homework beforehand and just know like the big events you want to make sure you go to. But don't feel bad if you miss out on something minor just because you were having a little self-care.
Yeah, absolutely. Sometimes, you're like, I really, really, really want this thing. It's okay to like take a second and be like, well, it's either that or like I have a functioning brain, and we play a card game that needs your functioning brain.
Well, most of the time.
It's also important that if you are getting stressed, that they do have areas that you can go and de-stress. The quiet space. If you need a little bit more comforting and maybe just need to take more of a second, but not necessarily be in a quiet space, the Birds of Paradise are going to have their booth set up, and they're very welcoming and engaging and understanding that mental health is important.
That is true. We'll go ahead and move on to Jacoby's second tip.
All right, second tip is understand your mosey speed. Comprehend exactly how
Understand
fast
your
you
mosey speed.
Yep, understand your mosey speed. Understand that everyone is going to be meandering around you. You're going to be in a place more likely condensed with people, and not everyone has the same walking speed, jogging speed, etc., etc. The reason I phrase it the way I do is everyone can walk a certain speed with intention. But moseying is the speed at which you just wander aimlessly. It is how fast you get to point A to B without thinking, oh God, I got to rush, or I'm going to pick up this pace. So understand, I could probably travel from here to here in like 5 minutes without thinking about it. That will help you navigate the convention. You'll be like, yeah, I know panel A and panel B is this far. My mosey there is like 5 minutes. So if you're rushed, you can get there faster. If you're not, you can get there whenever. If you know that you can mosey faster, congratulations. You get to do some things in between, but kind of just a grip on your exact speeds because it'll help with planning food out. It'll help planning your autographs. It'll help planning everything else. They say the downfall of a plan is not what you put in the schedule, but the time it takes to commit to each part.
Very, very true. On that same token here as well, you're going to be on your feet a lot. Don't dress to be cute. Dress to be comfortable with your, as far as your shoes are concerned. You do not want to be walking around in heels or something and just having your feet barking at you the entire time. I have worn heavier socks and stuff and had my feet just like on fire the entire time just for the sake of an outfit or something, but just make sure you're comfortable with your footwear.
Obviously, this does not apply to cosplayers because we all know that cosplayers are, in fact, in it for the fashion and not necessarily the comfortability.
Yeah, that's an entirely different ballpark. Person just walking around, dressed for comfort.
Yeah, if you are, in fact, that person, that human being who's like, yeah, you know what? High heels for 7 hours, sign me up. Kudos to you. You have the unbreakable heels of someone that is a much greater human being than me. I will be wearing Crocs.
Oy. Actually, speaking of the cosplay part, I think that follows well into my second tip and or trick, that magic isn't the only thing to do at the event. This kind of goes into the panel bit, but there's also a cosplay contest. There's also game nights. There's also getting autographs. And in more recent MagicCon, they've also started to do D&D. So if you wanted to also just take a break from Magic from gaming perspective, you can then go and live an adventure of somebody running a D&D one-shot at the convention as well. I did that in Chicago with Joe Johnson, who ran a Resident Evil 5e inspired campaign.
That would be very interesting.
Yeah, it was a fun time.
A great time.
Even with that as well, like that's something I've always said, as far as the Magic cons are concerned, a little bit less on the SCG con. SCG con's very much set up to you're either playing or you're shopping with not a lot to do in between. But with MagicCon, you can go to these conventions if you really wanted to with no cards in your hands and no money in your wallet and do stuff the entire time. It is very, very easy to do so. You have a variety of things. For example, of course, we have our panel, very biased, from 4:30 to 5:30 in the spin down panel room there at Vegas. After that, from 5:30 to 6:30, there's cosplay contest. Then you have different magic artists that are teaching drawing lessons at the convention. So if you wanted to go learn a little bit from some artists that are very well appreciated in this space, Kai Carpenter's doing one, and I'm very interested to kind of checking that out because I think his artwork is fantastic.
Plus, they also have the puzzle stage set up for like Bloomborough, and they've brought that forward from when they did Murders at Karlov Manor with just, hey, here are these puzzles for a nice little pin that you can get. And I'm showing both of them the blue mana pin that I got the last time.
And then also, there'll be interesting things. Like if you are someone who's coming to the convention, no money in your wallet, no cards in hand, you can come and watch people like game nights. And in addition to the panels, where instead of just listening and learning, you can watch people play the game and you get to learn either new styles about something you found interest in. You know, we're in Final Fantasy theme, so you get to see people like Josh Lee Kwai and the game nights do like, oh, I didn't know Y'shtola could do this, this, and this. That's really cool for my favorite game, you know, et cetera, et cetera.
Not to mention the audience participation that they do.
And that's been great. I've been seeing a lot more live play in this convention that we haven't passed. Like Commander at Home is doing a live play. We're going to have a Play to Win podcast. They're doing a CDH live play with the Scrybabies. So you can do like a live CDH event, which if it ends in like turn one, it's going to be hilarious. But like, you never know. With CDH, it could be explosive. It could be an 11-hour dissertation on arguing your point.
It will be a wonderful time to watch someone go turn one take 35 minutes.
I've got a playmat from that artist, and I'm wondering if it's even acceptable to bring that to the convention right now. But he's getting so much smoke.
I have not seen too much smoke after the fact, or at least none of it has bothered him. Nothing has been said as far as his side of it. So I think he's just, it happened. I did it. Yeah, whatever. I'm going to keep making art, like it or not.
That is fair. Let's go ahead and move on to the next point here, something that is my final point, and that is to fight the FOMO. These conventions are designed in a way to make you spend money. That's what they're wanting to do, whether it's convention exclusive swag, whether it's getting exclusive events. Joe?
I will always use a fight spell on fear of missing out. It's just too much of a value piece on the board.
Ha ha ha. So funny.
Listen, I don't feel like getting punched for 4, and neither should you.
Back to my goddamn point. These conventions are set up to make you spend money. So just be aware of how much money you're spending and on what, and make sure that you're not putting yourself into debt or something, buying a bunch of swag from the convention. If you think you might be running out of control, just have a certain amount of cash in your wallet, and that's just, this is what I've allocated to spend at the convention. We're going to use that, or whatever it might be. Just understand that people are actively trying to get you to overspend. Just do what you can to set your limits for yourself to make sure you're not putting yourself in a bad spot after the convention.
At the end of the day, we're here to have fun. We're here to see people. We're here to play this game and talk about all these fun things. That does not mean you are required to scoop up all of this interesting, neat, cool swag to tell the tale. Like Joe said, get pictures with your friends, spend time with people, have fun. That is equally as worthy as any swag you could ever get.
But also the swag is out pretty cool. So at least have some of it for that. You don't need all of it, but to get some of it.
But yeah, no, have fun, purchase some things if it's within your means. Don't just avert your eyes and not look that 4-4 in the face. But
fight that 4-4 head on.
Y'all ridiculous.
Absolutely. This is why we're your hosts.
We'll move on to Jacoby's third and final hint / tips and tricks.
My third final tip and trick is comprehensive enjoyment. Just because there are a billion things to do, and like we said, I would always tell you, experience everything. It's important to know that every single thing will be more than likely designed for you to have fun. But not everything has to be up your alley. You can choose to be with a group of friends, and then there's one comedy or one skit or a panel that you want to see that none of them want to see. It's okay to comprehend, yeah, I will split up with you guys and meet you later, and go, I'm going to enjoy this little thing for at least me, and then group back up. You don't have to, just like the fear of missing out, you do not have to be a sheep in your personal herd of, yeah, I wanted to do this thing, but we're not going there, so I'm not going to. You don't have to do that. This is a place of love and fun. Pictures with friends are just as important as getting the panels you absolutely want to see. If you were one of our fans and you kept, you're like, oh my God, please give me a picture with Levi, we would be absolutely remiss that you chose not to do that because you were too unwilling to part ways with your friend who wanted to go see a different content creator if you loved our content. Or vice versa. Someone drags you to our panel and you wanted to see another one, we would tell you to do the same thing. Like, go see the panels you love. Get pictures with those people. Enjoy the content you're here for.
Yeah, we're schlubs. Why are you watching us?
That is a very, very good point. Either way, at the end of the day, people are taking vacation time to go to these events. Just try to get out of it, whatever it is you're wanting to do. Of the three of us, I am a big autograph fan. I'm going to be spending a good amount of time in various lines, getting some cards signed and meeting some artists of this wonderful game. That isn't necessarily the cup of tea for my co-hosts here, but that's fine. While y'all are going to a D&D one-shot or something, I'll probably be in line getting some artists' signatures and stuff like that. Just do what it is that you enjoy. At the end of the day, it is your time.
And speaking of that, it follows well into my last point, which is there's even more than just the event. You're probably in a new city that you've never been in before. So one of the biggest things you probably want to check out is the actual city itself. You probably have never been to Chicago, probably never been to Las Vegas. Both of those have fantastic food scenes. I love going to getting different foods in different places because it was ingrained in me long ago. If I'm in a place that's new to me, I should not be going to a place I can get back home. I'm going to go into Chicago and I'm going to go to like Giordano's, like the last time that Levi and I went, and we are getting ourselves a good deep dish pizza.
Do that. You can go to Billy Goat Tavern. You can go to a lot of different places. Chicago's got some excellent food. Vegas has excellent food, entertainment, anything you could possibly want. So getting a chance to explore these cities is definitely worthwhile if you get the opportunity to do so. And you just have something to tell your friends outside of, oh, I was in a convention hall the whole time and I played some Magic and I won some games and lost some games and I saw Jimmy Wong and Justin Quiet play. Oh, I got a chance to see the Sphere from a distance, or I caught a show, or whatever it might be.
What previous guest on the show, JM, brought back from Vegas the last time was that he was just walking around Vegas, walked up to a craps table, and oh, who happens to be there? Jimmy and Josh also playing craps. So sometimes you don't even need to be at the convention to meet the people you want to meet at the convention, because they're going to be doing the same.
Yeah, sometimes you're going to think, oh God, I'm only going to get to meet these people at these specific panels. They will have these same ideas in mind. They're going to do what they're going to find as interesting and fun, and you could just bump into exactly who you're looking for, not at the time you expected, but the time you were prepared.
Kind of a bonus point to put here as well is these people, these content creators, these are just people like you and me for the most part. You can go up and say hi. If somebody looks like, hey, I'm peopled out, I don't want to be talking to anybody right now, maybe keep your distance and just kind of respect it. But most people are just very friendly. They'll say hi to you. I obviously don't like just storm anyone, but you'll never know. Like my brother went to the convention in Chicago and Josh Lee Kwai walked right past us. I just kind of nodded and said hi. I was like, oh yeah, by the way, person who just passed us, he's one of the biggest Magic content creators in the entire world. He's like, really? He's like, yeah. If you're not in the space, you just have no idea about this. But these are just people like you and me. They just are doing something they enjoy for work, and just feel free to say hello and just say like, hey, I like your work. Maybe don't go into the event of, I want to debate your most recent article or whatever it might be, but don't be afraid to say hi.
Absolutely. I also take highs, hugs, high fives, handshakes, pretty much anything. I hardly am ever truly peopled out.
Out of the three of us, I am the most socially awkward. I'm approachable, but I am not. You could approach me and be like, hi, who are you? And I'll just be, hi, I'm Jacoby. I'm talking to a mic with some friends. It's nice to make your acquaintance. Like, I'll be awkward, but I'm never against saying hi. Just keep in mind, the social palette of people vary like a smorgasbord does.
I could see it now. Ho ho, you're approaching me. I can't say hi to you without approaching you. Come as close as you like.
For me personally, you can say hi, high fives, everything. Like, ask before you hug me. That's just my only request. Just don't randomly go up and hug me. I don't know how many of you would actually recognize me as is, but just excited to hopefully meet some of you there at the convention and get a chance to possibly get some games in. Last few minutes here, let's just go around the horn and say the number one thing I'm looking forward to most about MagicCon Las Vegas. Joe.
Literally, it's everyone. I primarily go to conventions just to see friends. That is my primary motivation to do a lot of this, is because we've all made friends within the content creation community. I've reached out to a whole bunch of them, and this is usually the best place to just catch up with them in real life.
That's an excellent point. A bit of a cop-out answer, but it's all good.
Cop-out? Gosh.
Jacoby, how about you? This is your first MagicCon, if I recall. So this will be very exciting. You've been to a lot of the SCG cons with us.
It's a fight between two things, so I'm just going to say both of those things. The first is hosting this panel, having us bring more interesting, more varied content and more love to this thing we love to do. Because I find things like our show and anytime we get to do a panel, I try to commit as much, if not more, than anyone to getting these done. I'm, like I said, socially the weakest of us, so it's a hard-fought battle to do these things. But the thing it ties with is getting to meet all the other content creators and getting to meet people who I would like to have the opportunity to play a game with, and just getting to express, at least for this set, my love for just the set alone, because Final Fantasy is, of any set we will ever get in Magic, I will never feel as more kindred spirit with it than any other set than Final Fantasy. It is ingrained into A, my childhood, and B, my adulthood, and C, just the way I approach many, many things in life as it stands.
It also helps that this set has been a full ass banger.
That is true. There's been a lot of really cool cards. One thing that I've noticed is there's been a lot of really cool cards and some powerful cards, but not a lot of them are like unanimously good. They're good in every single deck, no matter what. They kind of have their own little pockets of niche space, which I think is a good card design. Finally, for mine, I think I'm kind of tied between the two. Obviously, I guess it'd technically be 3 with the panel as well. But just starting to write for EDH Rec, getting a chance to meet some of my colleagues in person that I've been talking to online as we've been going. I'm really looking forward to doing that. And then also, I'm a big autograph guy. So Rebecca Guay being at this event is someone that doesn't normally go to these type of conventions to get signatures. And that's really exciting for me. And there's been a couple other artists that I'm very excited to get an opportunity to meet. Between all of that, I'll be good and busy this weekend. But I think that is all the time we have. Does anyone have any closing thoughts before we go?
Live fast, beat grass, eat ass.
Don't forget to drink the water.
Water is in fact important after you eat ass. So that is also very good advice.
Please, for the love of everything sacred, get a Camelback. Have water. Don't be lame and loose.
We almost made it to the end of an episode without Joe mentioning a sex act. But here we are. I'm Levi.
I'm Jacoby.
And I'm Joe.
And this has been the Thought Vessel. Have a wonderful rest of your day.
Goodbye.
It's not gay to kiss your homies goodnight.